You hungry? Hey, Ma! Can we get some meatloaf?
This has like a mom's basement kind of feel.
Mom! Mom! Mom!
Still some stuff in the basement.
What basement?
Mom's Basement with Joe Frank. That is quite possibly the dumbest thing I think you've ever said. And Corey Diab.
I can't believe I take part in this show.
Mom's Basement, we're back. We didn't go anywhere. I don't know what happened. It's been a couple weeks.
We've been sitting here for 3 weeks. That's what he means by not going anywhere.
I haven't left my house in like a month.
I haven't slept in a month. We've just been sitting in this room.
That would be absolutely terrible. One, there's no bathroom in this
Do you
room.
know how many people have died because I haven't shown up to work?
Oh boy.
It's crazy. You should probably go check on that.
Yeah, you should probably go save lives.
No, they're fine.
Are you sure? Well, I mean, you
I'm
said they were dead.
I'm not
Are
sure.
they dead or are they fine?
I mean, just because they're dead doesn't mean they're not fine.
I think when I go there tomorrow, it'll just be a surprise.
This is getting fun.
Surprise! two out of the 5 live.
Anyways, Mom's Basement, we're back. We're better than ever once again.
That's gonna be a gift.
Except, got some bad news. The Bulls really fucked up the draft last night. We'll get into that. We got baseball. Cubs are thriving. White Sox are surely rebuilding. We all can see that every time they are on TV.
I can't watch anymore.
Well, I couldn't watch Hawk Harrelson and Frank Thomas in the same booth together, but before we get into any of that, as always, I'm Joe. That's Corey.
What's up?
Matt's behind the camera. Almost fucked up my camera view before the show. I'm sure that'll be an Instagram clip later. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe_Frank01. Corey's on Twitter at Corey El Diablo.
Sick.
Show's on Twitter at Mom's Basement 18. Working on getting the real Mom's Basement at Keemstar. Really fucked that one up for me. Turns out when you have millions of dollars, you can just buy whatever Twitter ad you want. You know what we don't have in the budget? Matt, what don't we have in the budget?
Hang on, wait.
Pull up the budget for me, Matt, on your computer screen that I bought for you in the studio.
I'm gonna go with the fact that we don't have $1 million.
This is me tapping on a stool because we can't afford a computer screen for myself.
A stool that Mike sat out of the shower when he was wounded.
We have a budget for nothing.
Nothing. All right, we have no budget.
Nothing. You spent it all in this god-awful soundproofing.
I have $3.
Well, Matt, you can fix the soundproofing.
With what budget?
I have a budget.
Tell
me what to buy.
That's not what my stool says.
Tell me what to buy, and I will get it.
Alright, can we talk about sports?
All right, let's move into it. Bulls draft. Last night was the draft. I'm going to be honest, I really cried myself to sleep last night because of the Bulls draft. Absolutely fucking horrendous job by Garpax once again. Shouldn't be surprised at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, what else do you expect?
I mean, they're just absolutely atrocious. Once again, I'm going to put this out there. I am available.
I know you're available.
I can do it.
I want to talk about this fucking organization just as a whole real quick. What have they done in terms of maneuvering that would make you feel confident in this fucking team? I mean, everything that they've accomplished since Derrick Rose was drafted was all luck-based. Okay?
Getting Derrick
Rose, you had a 1.7% chance to get Derrick Rose. Okay, you just happen to get the best coach in the league at one point, and he brings the best out of all your players. And you fucking lose him. Okay, you had to sign a second superstar to complement Derrick Rose. You get fucking Carlos Boozer.
Go get him, Joe!
Yeah, fuck Carlos Boozer.
And what?
What have they shown in any sense that we should have confidence in them going forward? I mean, even this Jimmy Butler trade. You know, it was cool. It was cool during. When it happened, because you got a couple of young pieces back, you get Lauri Markkanen, but now they might let Zach LaVine walk.
And we're going to talk about Zach LaVine.
I mean, it's just a mini Bulls rant, but they're the worst fucking run team in Chicago, and they may be the worst run team in basketball because fans keep showing up to this fucking United Center, selling it out every fucking game for 41 games, and you know what? Garpax just get to keep doing what they want to do.
I haven't been to a Bulls game in probably 4
But they still sell out.
Yeah.
They still sell out. It's fucking ridiculous. Okay.
So last night they drafted Wendell Carter Jr. from Duke and Chandler Hutchinson from Boise State.
You know why they drafted Chandler Hutchinson? They made him a promise.
Apparently the Bulls promised this kid they're going to draft him.
So, background. Chandler Hutchinson, this dude from fucking Boise State, leads his team in points, rebounds, steals, and assists. Guess what? It's the fucking whack. You play at Boise State.
The Western Athletic Conference.
When they told me they drafted a dude from Boise State, I was surprised that he wasn't white. Okay, number one. Number two, okay, how the fuck do you promise some guy this fucking pick just so he doesn't work out with other teams? they couldn't trade the number 22 pick last night based on a promise they made. That's some bullshit. First of all, this kid, if he's talented enough to get to the NBA, whether he's picked at 20, 21, 24, it's not going to fucking matter. He's going to make his money. I don't give a shit what promise you make. That prevented them from trading up at all. They were fucked over the second they made that promise and said, yeah, we're going to stick to it. I don't give a shit. Make the promise to the kid and blow the kid off.
Yeah,
honestly. Who gives a fuck?
If I'm an NBA executive, the words, I promise I'm going to draft you, are never coming out of my mouth unless I have the number 1 pick and it's a sure thing.
Oh, no doubt about it. No fucking doubt about it. And then the second thing, they're doing a press conference during the second round of the draft. Are you not trying to get a younger player? You want to get younger and more athletic, like you said right before you signed Rajon Rondo and Dwayne Wade 2 years ago. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, you're not trying to trade salary or whatever to move into the second round? No, because you traded a second round pick last year for $3.5 million. You're fucking morons. This is the worst organization in basketball.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad night. I'm going to grade the draft as an F.
Me too.
I know Corey's going to give it an F.
Because they were boned from the start. Just from the fucking start, when you can't trade 7 and 22 with Bobby Portis to move up to pick number 4 so you can get Mo Bamba, or trade up to number 2 so you can get fucking Marvin Bagley. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. It was awful.
Yeah, I think moving into the top 3 was facetious from the start. Like, to get Bagley, I don't think that was ever going to be a possibility.
Right. That's yeah.
I mean, what was the article? What was the article you sent me from?
It was Bleacher Report that brought it up.
It was like Iman Shumpert and number 2.
You take Iman Shumpert and number 2 when you give them Bobby Portis 7 and 22. If I don't care if I'm getting a superstar, I would give up next year's first too. 7 next year's first 22 just so I can get a guy who's my guy. I'm doing that.
First of all, when I told somebody about that article, you know what they said to me? Iman Shumpert's on the Kings.
Yeah, no fucking kidding, right?
It was in that George Hill deal, I assume. But yeah, Wendell Carter Jr. at 7. I don't hate Wendell Carter Jr. I think he's a pretty good player. Really good post defender. He was the best post defender in the NCAA last year. He could score when Bagley wasn't on the court. That was a loaded Duke team.
Right,
so there was a ton of first-round picks.
So people are saying, too, that he was underutilized as an offensive threat.
Which he was. 100%. 100%.
But
and Grayson Allen, got all the headlines there.
But if you fucking tank for this entire year like you were trying to do, first of all, even in the lottery, you got screwed out of the number 2 pick, which you could have had.
By a coin flip, right?
By a fucking coin flip. And then you spend your entire year tanking, and you get Wendell Carter Jr. It was a 6-player draft, and you got number 7.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, pretty fucking
It's a fucking
bad.
F. A lot of luck went against the Bulls, lots of bad luck, but also this organization is just a shit show in every sense of the fucking word.
And they beat the Magic in one of their last games of the season.
Right. Who is that fucking dude? Somebody was talking about some guy they signed off the D League or G League, I guess, for the last week of the season. It got him 3 wins and got him out of the fucking 6 seed or whatever. I don't even know. I want to say like Poindexter or some shit, but I don't fucking know. But regardless, just everything that could go wrong did for the Bulls this year and this draft, because you tank the entire fucking year. You get Wendell Carter Jr. He's going to be a solid player that's going to improve them by a certain win margin. They'll have a lottery pick next year, but it won't be as high. And they're going to be a team that finishes as like the 6th seed, the 5th seed every year. And they're in basketball hell. People call it purgatory. It's basketball hell.
What they should have done last night, this is how last night should have gone, in basically almost every Bulls fan I saw, this is what everybody wanted, including myself. Mo Bamba was the player to go get. Mo Bamba is a freak athlete.
Right. 7'10" wingspan.
Longest wingspan in NBA combine history.
8-foot wingspan, guys.
He would come into the league as probably a top 2 rim protector in the entire NBA. Like a force to be reckoned with on defense. He's a freak athlete, can run the floor, just super good player. You can mold him into an mold his offensive game later. But right now, would have been probably the best rim protector in the NBA. That would have been an asset to have.
Right.
And I actually heard about Mo Bamba. So before he went to Texas, I don't know if you ever saw this story, but his own brother was trying to get him declared ineligible with the NCAA. His brother ratted him out, tried to get him ineligible, saying he was taking bribes. Isn't that fucking wild?
Yeah, that's fucked.
Now he signs a $1 million NBA contract, and his brother ain't going to get shit. That's just fucking funny. But Mo Bamba was the player to go get. He would have been a lock at the 5 spot for the Bulls for years. With Marketing in that front court would have been really fucking good. But instead, Wendell Carter Jr. Then Michael Porter Jr., who possibly has the highest ceiling in the entire draft. We all know the injury concerns. The Bulls had his medical reports. Apparently didn't like his medical reports, but they also had the promise to Hutchinson.
That's such bullshit. But the thing is, too, with this draft, I would have been fine if they get MPJ at 7, if they just took him at 7. Because look at both ends of the spectrum. It's going to be one of two options. MPJ busts out because he gets hurt and he's like Greg Oden, whatever, or he becomes a superstar. If he busts out, you still get a top lottery pick. Okay? Because you still have the same cast from last year. Now, sure, Dunn, Levine, Marketing, Progress, whatever. Okay, but older players on that roster get a year older. They play worse. You don't know about injuries. You don't know if Zach LaVine leaves as a free agent. That's what happens if MPJ busts. If MPJ on the other end hits his ceiling, he's a superstar. He is a top 5 player in the league, and you have a core around him with Marketing, Levine, and Dunn.
And he's a really confident guy, too. That's what I like about Porter.
The one thing the Bulls had to do in this draft was swing for the fences no fucking matter what. Okay? You could not play safe. And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, this is probably a hot take, I would have rather them take Trae Young than take Wendell Carter Jr. The reasoning behind taking Trae Young Jr. is because, again, both ends of the spectrum. One end, he's Doug McDermott.
That's a super hot take.
But you know what? If he's Doug McDermott, your team is still ass, you get a shot at it next year. On the other end of the spectrum, he's Steph Curry, who is an elite scorer in the league.
I don't think the Steph Curry comp makes any sense.
I'm giving you both ends of the spectrum, okay? But regardless, they had to play it, swinging for the fucking long ball, and all they did was play it safe.
Yeah, they played it bold. They played it bold. This is what they do. Porter Jr. was sitting there at 14. Last pick of the lottery. Denver was there. Bulls in Denver made sense because they could eat free money, give Denver some flexibility in free agency for July. They could take Bobby Portis if they want, swap picks, bada bing, bada boom, then you take MPJ. It's there. He has the ability to be a Hall of Fame player in the NBA.
Absolutely.
The ability.
Now, and I do want to just clear up real quick with the Trae Young shit. I don't think he's going to be Steph Curry either, but I think if you're looking at him and you see that ceiling, that's what you were swinging for. Rather than a guy like Wendell Carter, whose comp last night, Chauncey Billups was giving comps during the draft. Wendell Carter's comp was Carlos Boozer. How fucking bull is that?
Someone got picked before him, I think. He gave somebody a Michael Carter Williams comp. And I think it was the guard from Kentucky. I was like, boy, that's a shit comp.
Is that Kevin Knox?
No. The kid with 3 names.
Alexander,
I think his last name is.
Hold on, I got it. Shai Greg.
I can't pronounce his name.
Shai Alexander with a G name in the middle.
But he gave him a Michael Carter Williams comp.
That's not shit. But basically, fuck the Bulls. I mean, the only way this works is if for some fucking reason, LeBron's like, look at the Bulls, and he's just like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, LeBron's not coming to the
I know.
Bulls. As much as he should come to the Bulls,
he should go to Philly, but that's another conversation for free agency. But
we'll talk about that in the next episode, probably. Yeah, this is going to be an F. You had all the opportunities to make the impact move, get generational pieces, and you stood flat on your feet. And if it's true that they made a goddamn promise to this kid, immediately should be fired. Both Garpax fired.
They should have been fired instead of Tom Thibodeau.
Oh, I agree. I mean, they should have gone long.
Years ago. Okay, it's not Tibbs' fault that fucking Derrick Rose tore his ACL. It's fucking It's fucking fate that D Rose was ever a Bull in the first place. He should never have been a Bull. Okay.
Yeah.
Garpax, Jerry Reinsdorf, as a White Sox fan, is loyal to a fucking fault. Okay, I've seen it on the White Sox end. Luckily the White Sox are trending in the right direction, but the Bulls are just... Jerry Reinsdorf needs to fire Garpax. Like, John Paxson still has a job because of that game-winning shot. He made
one shot in the 90s.
98?
Yeah.
98 or 97. Because of that game-winning shot, he still has a job. That's it.
And this is why every single Bulls fan hates their front office.
Every single Bulls fan, if you're a fucking Bulls fan, you need to stop going to their games. You need to stop tweeting at their accounts. You need to pretend like they don't exist.
Personal vendetta.
Okay? Like, legit. Because the only thing you're doing is backing their bad habits. Okay? You're supporting them when they shouldn't be supported. You should not buy Markkanen jerseys. You should not buy Zach LaVine jerseys. You should not buy Chris Dunn jerseys or D Rose jerseys, Jimmy Butler jerseys, whatever fucking jerseys they make profit off of. do not take part in the Bulls. I'm calling for a boycott for Bulls fans.
And as far as Chandler Hutchinson goes, I know nothing about this kid. Didn't see any Boise State games. Probably will never watch a Boise State basketball game.
What did they say? I saw some guy tweet he was like one of the best slashing forwards in the draft. Whatever the fuck that means. Like he can cut to the basket.
To the rim,
fucking cool. Run into Mo Bamba and see if you can get to the fucking basket.
Mo Bamba's gonna be a fucking beast.
Yeah.
And you know what the biggest troll is? That Orlando has Vujicic in the middle, so they don't even technically really need a center. They probably have needs at literally every other position except center.
But you know what they did? They took the best player available.
Yeah, they did. And Mo Bamba's going to be a star. I mean, they could run Vujicic as a 4 and Bamba in the middle. That's a damn good front court. I think Aaron Gordon is still there. That's pretty good 3 pieces right there. But I think the last Boise State athletic event I watched, Kellen Moore was playing quarterback.
Yes, with the blue football field. I love Boise State football just for that fucking field.
So that's probably as kept up on Boise State athletics as I am. Now let's talk about Zach LaVine, restricted free agent. There's been a couple tweets, articles coming out that the Bulls aren't convinced that they want to keep Zach LaVine around after, less than half a season he came back from.
I want to say that was Nick Friedel. I'll look.
Nick Friedel!
Stop, we're not doing that.
The Bulls beat reporter.
We're not doing that anymore.
Right,
I fucking hate Nick Friedel.
Anyways, LaVine's restricted free agent, so the Bulls have the option to match any offers that he gets.
It was Nick Friedel. The Bulls aren't universally supporting him, so.
And universally supporting him after a small sample size, again, feels like the wrong decision. You should at least give this guy 2 years. Give him a shorter deal if you have to give him higher AAV, essentially, because you have the money to spend right now. You're not going after any superstars. You're still rebuilding. In fact, they're almost convincing themselves to let go of Zach LaVine after such a small sample size. Seems idiotic to me.
I mean, what was the fucking point of the Jimmy Butler trade then?
Well, I think this is why I'm not mad if they let LaVine go. I mean, I think it's the wrong decision right now. But the biggest piece of that trade was Markkanen, because they got that pick. And Chris,
I would disagree.
You think it's LaVine?
I think at the time, I think LaVine was better.
I'm saying right now, the biggest piece that they got out of that deal is Markkanen.
Yeah, I would say so. I think Markkanen has the higher ceiling just because of health.
Markkanen's going to be a bull for the next decade. You could lock that in. They're not going to let him go.
I mean,
you call that a hot take?
I think it is. Because if you're Lauri Markkanen and you're stuck on a team that wins 40 games every year, why the fuck would you stay here?
I think Markkanen's going to be a bull for the next decade.
Well, regardless,
personally,
we can talk about that in 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, if we'll have to see how this plays out, because who's going to offer LaVine a deal is going to be a good deal. Obviously, the entire NBA saw him flash some greatness last year, and then mostly it was just shit. He wasn't good.
The thing too is other teams can only offer him 4-year deals, right? So if the Bulls match, it's going to be for a 4-year deal.
He's not getting a max deal, so.
I hope to God not. I mean, you see players getting overpaid all the time. You saw didn't Timothy Mozgov get $80 million from
Mozgov was making $19 million next year. He was 4 for 75 was his deal.
Yeah, so you think Zach LaVine won't get that money?
I don't. I wouldn't offer him that.
Well, you wouldn't offer him that, but somebody fucking would.
This is a year in the NBA where no teams have cap room. The Bulls are one of few teams that have cap space. Because of that offseason where Mozgov got signed, everybody was making just bad deals. So until all those contracts come off the books, a lot of teams are stuck. Bulls are not one of those teams. They have money to move. They have money to play around with.
They'll give it to Zach LaVine, and they won't sign somebody like LeBron or whatever, or however
LeBron, Paul George, Kevin Durant. I mean,
however the fuck KD's situation didn't work. I mean, who wants to go to the fucking Bulls anyway?
I would go to the Bulls. I'm not in the NBA, but
well, okay.
Transitioning into baseball. Listen right here, real quick. I got good news for all fans of baseball. The goddamn director of morale has done it again. He put a fucking C on his chest. 44 has got the C on his chest for the fucking first time. Goddamn deserves it. The first time a C's been put on the chest. And listen here. 44% of the proceeds from these shirts are going to the Anthony Rizzo Foundation. So not only are we getting the fucking C on the chest, we're helping kids nationwide in the Anthony Rizzo Foundation. Cubs Twitter is the best Twitter that there is, led by Frederick, director of morale. Frederick, thank you once again. Shirts are awesome. They're dope. C on his chest. Corey loves it. I got an extra C in the package. Turn that shit off. I got an extra C.
Wait a minute. Weren't you pissed that a kid with cancer beat you at the dicks off?
Shut up. We're not bringing that up. I might re-upload that video.
Please do.
I got good feedback on my cruise ship dancing. So now I feel like it opens up a window for me. You know, like
Yeah,
a
you
market.
sound like a spoiled white kid right now.
Like a market. People want to see
You
me.
literally were legitimately pissed off at a kid with cancer.
Because I deserve to win.
That's
So we basically learned today that Joey Frank is kind of a fucking asshole, only because he likes Dom and nothing else.
Listen, put a C on his chest. I mean, it's the
Hey, like I said, he's the second best first baseman in Chicago.
He's the
So
best first baseman in
he's
Chicago.
he ain't. I look at his offensive numbers. No, he ain't. Now move on from Dom, because he's a fucking moron who should get hit by a truck.
The Cubs are coming into form here, 42-31. Currently 2 games back of the second-class organization, but it's fine. It's all good.
Wait, which second class organization?
Milwaukee.
Oh,
St. Louis is a dumb organization.
Okay.
Milwaukee's second class.
okay.
Gotta keep up. Come on now. You're better than that.
I didn't give you permission to touch me.
I don't care.
Yikes.
I don't care. You're in my
You hear
room.
that, ladies? Joey touches and doesn't ask for permission.
Only Corey, so.
Oh, I hate to see it.
I mean, there's nobody else lining up, so. You know.
That's true.
I got you there. Anyways, 42-31, 2 games back at the second-class organization. The second-class organization doesn't have any pitching. I mean, so Josh Hader is going. His arm's going to fall off by the end of the year.
They said that about Chris Sale, too, who his comp is.
Their count, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Left-hander,
Why? Because they're both
wild
skinny lefties.
Skinny lefties, wild motions, and great, crazy good shit.
Yeah, Josh Hader is sweet. You know where he came from?
Where?
Houston.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
No fucking shit.
Yeah, it was like they
With
got.
all their spin rate bullshit that they do, yo, Hader should just bring that shit to Milwaukee. They'll have pitching then.
Milwaukee traded Carlos Gomez to get Josh Hader and Domingo Santana. Crazy. I mean, that paid off for them. I don't even know where Carlos. I think he's in fucking Tampa Bay right now. So.
You hate to see
And the
that.
Brewers have the best reliever in baseball because of that. But speaking of the best reliever in baseball, Jason Hayward.
How is that a transition?
Well, because Jason Hayward.
Oh, Jason Hayward hit a bomb off him, a granny.
No, not a
No?
granny.
Just a bomb.
He had a game-tying RBI off Hader. It was
I
the
forgot.
only game all year that the Brewers have lost
I'm not
that
a Cubs
Hader.
fan.
Yeah, that Hader pitched in. Jason Hayward has been hitting the ball. I mean, it's something I haven't said in 3 years. Jason Hayward is hitting the baseball.
Whoa, he's hit the ball. He just isn't grounding out to second.
Jason Hayward is smoking the baseball.
His weighted runs created plus is what, 133?
133
Over a
over the last
certain-
30 days. Bryce Harper's is like 60.
Yeah, so like I told you, this is 3 scenarios are going to play out here. 1, they're going to try to trade him at the deadline. Don't think that's going to happen. Number 2 is he's going to keep doing this all the way until the offseason. They're going to be like, fuck it, we'll trade him in the offseason. You know, someone will take the money and then they'll sign Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper will just continue to suck ass like he has been. Or 3, sorry.
face you're making.
He looks like he tasted like a sour fucking fruit for the first time or some shit.
I was also holding in a yawn.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Or option 3 would be that they fucking they refuse to sign Bryce Harper. They keep Hayward because they think this is the real Hayward, and then he just sucks again.
Well, listen, if Hayward keeps this up, and you know, Ken Rosenthal asked him like, "What's changed?" and all he said was, "I got my hands back." I don't know what that
So
means.
is that keywords for roids?
I don't think so.
That's roids.
I mean,
It's a bold thing to put out there if it is words.
the entire Astros starting rotation's on roids, so I mean, don't at me. But
That's a hot take.
I mean, it would be like, I don't get it, because it would be one thing if like he changed his contacts or he started wearing glasses where he can see the fucking ball better. But he's just hitting out of nowhere. I doubt.
they do have a new hitting coach this year.
Oh yeah, so where was that the first couple months?
Don't know. Maybe it took him longer to kind of
Oh, yeah?
fix it. I don't know.
2 years and 2 months.
Oh, fuck it. Jason Hayward hasn't hit fucking since he was a.
Like I
single
said,
start.
I'm not a Cubs hater particularly, but I don't buy it just yet, and I think it's rational to not buy it.
I'm not buying it. I just think it's so good to see. I mean, for all the shit I've taken for the last 3 years, it's finally good for people to back off on Hayward. Like, just back it off. Because he's smoking the ball, plain and simple. I mean, I saw him, he was 4 for 5 last night. I got home from work, and I saw him just absolutely laser a ball to left center field, and Chris Bryant somehow didn't score, I don't know. But anyways, he's hitting a lot of line drives, and he's crushing the ball. Which is like what he did when he was in Atlanta. He wasn't like a 40 homer guy.
Right. They
He
always
had great
thought he
bat
would.
power.
They always thought he would develop home run power. He never really
Because
did.
he's so big.
Right. He's fucking huge. But even if he doesn't need to be that much in that Cubs offense. Like if he was somewhere, you know, a few ticks below this, and was just like an average offensive player, he'd fit fine in the offense.
If he does what he's doing right now and just consistently does this, maybe even a little bit more.
Well, that's a lot to ask because he's 33% better than the average offensive player in the league right now.
I understand.
I don't think he's going to keep that up.
If he can stay close to this, he's perfect.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let him take it down a couple ticks. He doesn't need to be an elite hitter in this offense.
Yeah, exactly.
He needs to be a solid number 8 hitter in this offense.
Well, he's hitting 2. He's done a damn good job with the 2-hole. For some reason, Chris Bryant's been hitting leadoff. I'm stumped. It's not helping my fantasy team very much.
I don't know. I think it's like a new trend in baseball where you front load your lineup. You know, they've had Jose Abreu hitting 2. They at least tried Jose Abreu hitting 2 during the Robin Ventura era. You just kind of like top load your lineup, but. You know, the Cubs have a deep lineup, so it really doesn't fucking matter.
And with the Cubs, I've seen a lot of hate on Tyler Chatwood. Listen, I get it. He can't throw strikes. I understand it.
That's a bold strategy to be a pitcher and not be able to throw strikes.
I get it. Like, believe me, I see it. I watched the guy pitch. He's not been great, and his FIP is even fucking higher than his ERA.
Same with John Lester.
Yikes! I mean, just absolutely atrocious. But at the end of the day, Tyler Chatwood is what we thought he was, a number 5 starter.
I recall you saying at the start of the season that with the proper pitching coach...
Upside. He has upside because he's really good stuff. Absolutely. Right. But he is a number 5 starter.
Right. Yeah. Wait, okay, this is going to be an ignorant question. I'm not asking to be smart. Where is Yu Darvish?
On the DL.
For how long?
Been a few weeks.
Oh yeah? For how many more weeks is he going to be on the DL?
I think he threw a simulated game the other day, so he should be on the way back.
Because if Tyler Chatwood's your 4th starter come playoff time...
Well, I think they would start Montgomery over Chatwood.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Montgomery.
Montgomery's been pitching lights out. Chatwood's not going to start a playoff game.
I hope not.
Trust me, he is not starting a playoff game. If Tyler
Chatwood is starting a playoff game, something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, he's not starting a playoff game. And that's what it comes down to. He's just there to eat innings right now as a 5-starter. Maybe he works it out. Maybe he learns how to throw strikes. Probably not.
I was about to say something really bad as far as Tyler Chatwood coming back or being a starter in a playoff game. We can talk about it after the show.
Yeah, sure. Let's keep that on the wraps there. But he's a 5-starter, so literally there's nothing to worry about. Matt, he's not going to pitch important games for the Cubs because they will be in the playoffs.
Matt, close your legs, please.
Anyways, Mike Montgomery's been sick as a starter, so they could even run a 6-man rotation if they want to, keep the innings down for some of these guys. Kyle Hendricks has got to get his shit together a little bit.
What has he been up to? I honestly don't pay attention to the Cubs too much.
He's not been good. Not been good lately. He walked the bases loaded last night, which is something you never see Kyle Hendricks do, and then Joe Mann went with a quick pull, and then Randy Rosario threw 1 pitch and gave up a grand slam.
Who the fuck is Randy Rosario? I'm going to look up Kyle Hendricks.
The Cubs have been doing this thing where they're like swapping pitchers back and forth from Iowa in their bullpen. Rosario's actually been decent.
Is that a way to like conserve the bullpen?
I don't know. People are worried about the usage of the bullpen, and it's like...
I would be worried about Joe Mann's usage of a bullpen too. He's proven he can't do it.
The only guy who was like top 100 in innings is Steve Cishek.
Right.
So I'm not worried about the usage of the bullpen. What are you looking at right now?
I'm looking at Kyle Hendricks' numbers this year. So Kyle Hendricks has a 3.73 ERA, which compared to previous years is a huge drop off for him.
Yeah.
It's actually, well, what is it? 2016. It's almost 2 runs higher than 2016. It's almost a run higher than 2017. But his FIP is 4.59 right now.
He's not
XFIP is 4.09. So he's not been good. And yeah. So
I've seen 2 games this year that Kyle Hendricks has pitched and the Cubs won neither. I was at the game. 2 games.
Can I interest you in one James Shields?
No.
Do you have a Fernando Tatis Jr. in your farm system?
Nope. The Cubs have nothing in their farm system.
Their top prospect went down too.
I think Barstool Carl actually said like weeks ago he was going to be done.
Yeah, that was a good call by Carl.
Yeah.
He's gotten shit on for the Yu Darvish stuff, even though he was right, but like, yeah.
I saw that tweet. I think someone liked it and then it popped into my feed. And then I liked it. I was like, this is great. Cubs top pitching prospect done for the year. Like that.
Well, if you traded him for James Shields, we'd take him.
No, I think in a perfect world, I'd want them to trade for like Jacob deGrom, but there's no way. But there's no way. I said
Joey put together a deal for Jacob.
I said in a perfect world, and I'm not in a perfect world. They have nothing.
You know what that trade would take? It would take like Wilson Contreras, Albert Almora, and Javi Baez.
Yeah, if the Mets think they can compete in the next 5 years, which they can't, because they signed Jake Bruce to a fucking contract, Adrian Gonzalez, Estrella Cabrera plays shortstop on that team.
Yo, fun fact, we're getting way off topic about the Cubs and the White Sox, but Brandon Nimmo for the fucking
he's been good,
Mets, he's a top 5 player in the game right now.
Another
crazy.
The Mets like Yuri's Familia. I wouldn't mind the Cubs trading for him.
Yeah.
Like just an extra.
I've always been a huge fan of the Mets because I feel like they're the New York equivalent of the White Sox because they play second fiddle. You know.
Always will, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They literally always will. No one's bigger than the Yankees.
Oh, I thought you meant like the White Sox are playing second fiddle always.
Well,
no, they won't.
that comes.
I'm gonna roast. I'll roast your ass in 2020.
Common knowledge.
You just wait. You'll off yourself in 2020.
What was I just gonna say? I was just gonna say something and I fucking forgot.
Familia.
No, Familia. It was something else. Oh, it was so good. I can't remember.
All right, move on.
I can't remember it. That's all I have on the Cubs, regardless.
Okay, White Sox time. The only thing people come here to see anyway. So.
Dude, this is gonna bug the shit out of me. I'm sorry.
Go
ahead. Yeah, I'm just gonna think. Yeah.
Alrighty, so I'll get into the news stuff before I interact with Joey. So, White Sox promotions this previous Thursday. After all the minor league All-Star games finished up, the White Sox just had a fucking slew of promotions in the minor leagues. Starting at the top, M.O.M.S, the #1 prospect in the White Sox system, moved from AA Birmingham to AAA Charlotte. Joey's still stumped.
Dude, I am pissed.
Also, the White Sox promoted Ian Hamilton, who should see time in the bullpen this year, and Seby Zavala, who should be the starting catcher for the White Sox until Wellington Castillo comes back. They can went up to Charlotte as well.
Roids.
Who?
Wellington.
Oh yeah, Wellington Castillo definitely did roids. Oh my God, Jesus Christ, man. From single high A to AA Birmingham, the White Sox promoted Dylan Cease, who, by the way, just as a side note, Michael Kopech is bored at AAA, and Alec Hansen's coming back from injury in AA. Dylan Cease is quickly becoming my favorite pitcher in the White Sox organization. When the White Sox acquired him from the Cubs, he had 2 pitches. Now he has 4 pitches. He has 2 different types of fastball, a curve, and a changeup. I mean, he might be an ace. You know, he's been just lighting up single A. He's going to have his first start on Monday for Birmingham. It's a pitcher's ballpark, so I'm really interested to see.
Gives up 8 runs. Oh, stumped.
I'd be stumped as hell. You'd hate to see that, but you know, Dylan Cease is really just impressing this year, as well as Luis Alexander Basabe, who was my sleeper prospect coming into this year. Third piece of the Chris Sale trade, just tore up high A, and he's had a hit in each of his first 2 games at Birmingham so far. And also, Joel Booker in his first couple games at Birmingham is hitting 800. I know it's a small sample size, but still. And super prospect Luis Robert has moved on from low A to high A. He also had 2 hits today. He's had at least 1 hit in every game in high A. You fucking love to see it. Dude's going to be a stud center fielder. We get that. At the moment, the White Sox have 8 prospects in the top 100. We'll have 9 when Nick Madrigal gets added. Zach Collins moved up. But beyond that, stop fucking freaking out about Yohan Moncada. And Lucas Giolito had a good start tonight. You love to see that. 6 innings, 1 run, 8 Ks, and then it sort of fell apart a little bit in the 7th. He gave up a couple runs in the 7th, but you know what? Lucas Giolito was hitting 96 on the gun. He's had velocity issues all year. I'm glad to see it.
Why is it every day when I open Twitter at the end of the day I have to see you talking or liking or tweeting about Yohan Moncada?
Because he's fucking bae.
But you're defending him.
Because people are fucking morons. Okay?
Every single day.
This is my thing. It's so hard watching rebuild baseball because guys don't stop developing once they get to the pros. So if Yohan Moncada isn't a stud instantly...
It's not linear, you know?
Development is not linear. That's one of my favorite Twitter accounts, by the way. But anywho...
One of my favorite Twitter accounts right now is The Last Blockbusters.
Okay, well, I'm not talking to you.
Listen, Matt's the guy who posted a picture of cigarettes on Instagram today, so we're not going to take what he has to say.
He also has a huge hole in his pants, and it's really distracting, but not in a sexual way.
The way you said that made it sound like it was a sexual way.
But no, it's just frustrating. You can't... I'm coming to terms with the fact that you just can't watch rebuild baseball every day.
Well, see, here's the thing.
It's so fucking hard.
I watched rebuilding baseball for 15 years.
Okay,
but thank God I wasn't on social media.
That's fucking different in a couple ways because the Cubs didn't promote a super prospect for 2 or 3 years into their rebuild.
Well, I'm just saying, I get it's different, but I wasn't Twitter wasn't as big. I was younger, so Twitter wasn't a thing.
Right, but I mean, Yohan Moncada today, they had a doubleheader today, so he had 7 at bats today, and. The first game was from the right side. The second game was from the left side. He's worse from the right side. Yeah. He barreled up 7 balls today. He struck out 1 time in 7 or 8 appearances, but he barreled up 6 or 7 balls for at least, I think the lowest exit velocity was 97 miles an hour, and he got 1 hit off of that. That's awful luck. Okay, but people look at his batting average, they're just like, oh my God, he's a fucking bust. Like, Jesus Christ, the kid's relatively new to baseball. He's younger than I am. And I have no doubt he's going to be a stud second baseman, but it's just really hard to see the hot takes.
I had a guy tell me Chris Bryant was a bust because he wasn't batting 300.
Yeah, batting average is retarded.
You know how mad I got?
You should get mad.
I was fuming. I was getting in this guy's face.
And I mean, it's even just like, even if you're a cross-town team, talking about Yohan Moncada's strikeout rate, Chris Bryant struck out the most in his rookie year of anybody all time.
And won the Rookie of the Year.
And won Rookie of the Year. Next year was the MVP. Like, it just doesn't correlate. People just need to fucking relax. I mean, people are calling Michael Kopech a bust because he's had two like horrific starts at AAA. Everything else is Michael Kopech fine, but he's had like 2 starts where he goes 1 1/3 and gives up 8, and then it inflates his ERA.
Can we get to the? Can we call the stats department here at Mom's Basement?
I'm the stats department.
And get a
Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop.
Matt's calculating.
No, okay.
Oh, he's calling. It doesn't look like he's actually on the phone.
He's on Snapchat, and I see he sent a dick picture to a female.
Anyways, can we get the numbers for pre and post Brielle Bierman for Michael Kopech?
Well, post Brielle Bierman's been this entire season.
So so what are the numbers? They broke up before the season?
Yeah, I think they broke up in spring training.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it was like
she was there in spring training. I just, it's a stupid thing to look up, but like I'm genuinely curious.
Well, like I said, his numbers aren't good. His ERA is like either just a touch below 5 or it's at 5.
Brielle, listen. Corey's gonna need you to come back.
I don't need that.
Baby, come back.
I don't need any.
Get your fake lips back to Michael Kopech's life.
So his ERA is 5.08, but his FIP is 4.12.
So almost a full run.
It's almost a full run lower. I'm not worried about Michael Kopech. He's still K'ing 12 per 9, which is higher than he was last year. I mean, his walks are up, but I think his hits are down low. Like the thing, and I want people to keep in mind with this too, with walk rate. I'm not sure if I buy this, but it's just as a side note. I was listening to Jim Callis from MLB Pipeline a while ago talking Michael Kopech with the Sox Machine podcast, and he was saying Kopech is going to have inflated walks because his stuff is like quote unquote effectively wild, and people like learn to lay off it once in a while. But he's not going to give up a lot of hits because his shit is so hard to hit. So he might have games where he goes 7 innings, gives up 2 earned, gives up 2 hits, but also walks 4 or 5, and your whip sort of averages out to that desired total because he's not giving up hits.
It's so filthy.
Yeah, I mean, again, right now I have no problems. I have no problems with any of the White Sox young guys. I'll be honest with you, and it's just rebuild Twitter is hard. It really is.
And stop complaining about fan voting in an All-Star game that means nothing. Like. I've seen that on Twitter a lot. All right.
Oh, yeah?
That's all. Yeah, that's all we got. Matches threw a shirt on the table. It means it's the end of the podcast. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, whatever it may be. This is Mom's Basement, as always. I'm Joe. That's Corey. I'm on Twitter at Joe_Frank01. Corey's on Twitter at Corey El Diablo. Show's on Twitter at Mom's Basement 18. And we'll see you guys next week.